And I can tell you, though, Jimmy may be watching, but he's not waiting. He's doing everything he can to take advantage of the situation. He's got to run very, very close to Montoya so that if there is a break in traffic, if someone guesses wrong, he's got to be there to take advantage of it.
And there seems to be no further indication of when to expect a stop, but it seems to be clear in the Montoya pit, he will have to stop. They still think Vasser's okay on fuel. Now the gamble becomes more pronounced for Montoya. He obviously won't want to leave that racetrack in the lead. He may be forced to shortly.
Well, Gary, that brings the question up. We noted that the two Ganassi pits are now separated by a fairly considerable distance. Does the team share that kind of information?
I think they're obviously very aware of what's going on with each other. How much direct conversation there is, I don't know.
Well, it will be interesting to see then how this runs to the finish and how much information is passed and how, once again, that split has affected the internal workings of the Target Chip Ganassi team.
Because the other strategy here is, Paul, as I said earlier, if you're Montoya, you just go to full power knowing that you have to pit, but then if a yellow comes out, you can still stretch it? Or do you try to conserve, hoping that you don't have to pit, hoping for something else to happen? It can go either way. You go full power and take your chances, or you're better off, I think, being in Jimmy Vasser's position, knowing that you can make it, pressuring your young teammate into a mistake, or at least to use more fuel than's necessary to get to the end of the race.
So the battle in the Miller Lite 225 continues to be up at the front with Montoya and Vasser. Jimmy sitting back there, looking to make his move on his teammate Rookie. Live, here is Montoya. Montoya comes onto the pit road and goes for fuel, Gary.
It's a splash, it's a time stop, no cut tires, he's gone, had him just under 5 seconds in here.
Well, the suggestion was that that would happen, and the first indication we got was that Tony Kanaan's crew laid out and began a refueling process. Now Jill DeFerran comes in. Jimmy Vasser, of course, assumes the lead, but how good is the fuel in Jimmy Vasser's car?
Well, Paul, we've got 15 laps to go here. I thought at least they'd get a little closer to the end before they had to come in.
Yellow flag comes out at the starter's stand. Situation over in turn 1, and that is Roberto Moreno sideways on the course. Looks like he just spun to that point. The tracks don't go up all the way to the wall, and there's no obvious damage on the car.
Paul, we saw contact in turn 1. I believe they bumped wheels with one of the Newman Haas cars. I thought it was Christian Fittipaldi.
Exactly. That's who it was. Christian Fittipaldi got against him. Thank you, Gary.
And you've got to be hating life if you're Jill DeFerran or Juan Montoya at this point, Paul. That's the worst possible scenario you could have.
You drive that far, you lead, and then all of a sudden, as you come into the pits, this happens. Jan Beekes, what about Jimmy Vasser now?
Oh, there was a huge cheer down here when they saw the yellow flags. And you know what? They are acting like they might bring Jimmy in and give him some fuel. So they may have been this whole time telling us they could make it when, in fact, they weren't sure if they could. But pitting under yellow versus pitting under green obviously will be a major advantage for Jimmy. If they thought they were close and they hit this yellow, he should be able to make it to the end now.
Yeah, but it does mean that he is going to give up some track position if he does that.
Well, exactly, Paul. Then you have to wonder if whether we've been used in this whole strategical battle.
Oh, that'd be a shock.
Yeah, that'd be a shock, huh? Because I'm starting to think if Montoya came in that far from the end of the race, how close could Jimmy be? We saw DeFerran come in, and now it's a track position battle because Montoya's got enough to get to the end. If he stayed on the lead lap, and we'll find that out in just a minute, if he was able to stay on the lead lap and Jimmy came in, he'll line up behind him, which will make it very, very interesting.
And Jill DeFerran got out in front of Juan as well. You know, we suggested, you're talking 124. Here comes Vasser coming into the pits. 124 the last stop. They're trying to go to 225. Oh, boy, that was a long way. And so I think you just have to do the simple math. Right, Jan?
Well, here is the answer to our math quiz, and that is that Jimmy Vasser is going to go ahead and take the fuel. Boy, it didn't take long. 3.3, and he's out of here.
I think they lied to us, Paul.
Paul Tracy, though, stayed out, so we'll see what Paul Tracy's situation is. He's leading behind the pace car. This is going to be a nice sprint to the finish, 213 complete. And when they come back, they'll see that green flag, and we'll find out how truthful Tracy is and what Montoya, Vasser, and Moore can do. this will be a remarkable run if in fact he is able to make it all the way as the white comes out. And if in fact he would run out, how far can he coast? And can he coast and still keep everybody back? We've seen some races end exactly that way. Rick Mears, Johnny Rutherford ran to the finish that way. But now, fourth turn. Paul Tracy comes to the line. And look at this. An amazing victory as Paul Tracy takes his 14th career win. Paul Tracy. Oh, unbelievable how far he was.
Guys, great job.
Paul Tracy congratulates and thanks the crew. He carries that car with the help of that crew an amazing distance in scoring his second win here at Milwaukee and the first since St. Louis in 1997. So he comes from being in pretty serious trouble last week at St. Louis to the victory here today. And the green team is happy about that one.
Different emotions down here for Chip Ganassi and Target Team Ganassi. Tom Anderson, you just said you think you may have cost Jimmy the race?
Oh, I definitely cost him the race, John. There's no question about it, especially with the yellows as long as they were. We had enough fuel to go, and Jimmy had the car. I mean, Jimmy and Julian had everything working right. They had the Firestone tires living all day, and the Honda was leaned down, as proved Tracy did with the Honda engine. So, you know, I cost our guys the race today. There's no question about it.
Tough luck.
Some personal courage out of Tom Anderson to take the heat for not one, but two drivers who would have been in the battle. Here's the way.